You can put everything in there. TV, radio, print ads. This is just advertising 101, right? You better be ready to field those leads and give them an amazing experience if you ever expect to get an ROI on it, okay? So that's number one. That's the big point. And then the second point that Pat made to emphasize is this free and paid plan, right? Another way of looking at it when you're talking about, if somebody is doing the consistent marketing and they are, a candidate for doing warm Facebook ads, right? If you're paying like $5 a day, you're essentially like, the thing you ask yourself is like, would I pay $5 a day to make sure that instead of 1 or 2% of my audience sees my posts, 70, 80, or 90% of them see my post, right? And therefore, you're getting all that coverage, for really a very cheap price when you actually divide it. Like you could take that $5 and divide it by, call it 1,000 people, and your cost per, impression or whatever you want to say is really low. And so by maximizing the number of people that are seeing your posts, that's what's ultimately bringing people down, warming them up, keeping you top of mind, so that when you do strike, and that means like you offer a sale or you have some sort of an incentive at some certain time, you're highly likely to get a percentage of them to actually close. Okay. So Pat, let's define cold versus warm. Okay. Cold ads versus warm ads. What does that mean?
Yeah, so the easiest way to think about it is, let's say you walked into a bar in your hometown, right? And the bar is Cheers, right? Everybody knows your name. So everyone inside the bar has either met you, they've seen you before, they've been exposed to you, they realize you're an artist, they've seen your work. That's the equivalent of warm traffic, okay? Now, let's say you drive a couple hours north and you walk into a bar you've never been into before in your life. You don't know a single solitary face in there. Absolutely no one knows you. It's the same thing with Facebook advertising and the traffic. Cold ads are ads to people that don't know you, have never met you, never seen your art, don't know your name. It's the first time you've met them, right? Warm ads, on the other hand, are to these people that have some knowledge of you, right? And it could be they know you well, they know your favorite drink, they know what your kids' names are, all the way to, I know them, I've met them a couple of times. And it's a huge and important distinction, because advertising to one is significantly easier than advertising to the other. What we advocate is never to do cold ads, especially not until you can master and actually get an ROI on the warm ads, on showing your art, your photography, your sales, your creations, and everything that you do to your warm audience, to people that know you. So when we talk about the paid plan and the free plan, it only applies to warm traffic. It only applies to these people that know you and have interacted with your brand.
Yeah, and I think another important point there is you should be spending the maximum amount of dollars on your warm ads before ever considering anything else. Okay, because the cold ads are extremely difficult to make pay. So, and obviously your warm ads, you've already brought those people in. Okay, so there's no point, if you can't turn those into sales, why would you pour gasoline on the entire engine of your business that you've created? There's no point in doing that. You need to make sure that the people you're bringing in are actually converting into customers. Okay, and so before you do anything else, you want to make sure of that. I also think that another important point to make is that Pat, I think when we talk to, our members and new members that are not familiar with this, and other artists and photographers who, are on these types of sessions and things like that, there is one of the common things that I see is it's almost like buying ads is like a shortcut, if I could say that, it's a shortcut for doing the requisite work that you need to do, right? To build a following, to, understand what your niche is, what's resonating with your audience, and all of those different things. And because of that, there are times that I've seen people who have not validated that their art will actually sell. They've never sold to someone named mom, dad, sister, brother, and they're already buying cold ads. There's, who I'm thinking about. There's a person on the top of my mind right now. You know what I mean? And it's hold on a second. You're buying ads but you need to validate whether your art is actually marketable. Like this is crazy, you know?
Yeah. The whole concept, right, is part of a premise that is deeply, deeply flawed. And the premise that artists and photographers have, a lot of that, which have been bought into heavily, is that there's some easy shortcut way to getting people to come and see your art and buy it. That there's some sort of magical service that you can pay. There's some sort of passive income dream that you can upload your images somewhere and magically people are going to buy them without you having to do any of it. And it's all BS, sadly. Utter, total, and complete BS.
Complete
If
BS.
you want to grow your art or photography business, there is no shortcut. You have to market. If you don't market, there's nothing you can buy or pay for that's going to get you there. It's truth. It's hard.
Yep, and and I love that you're saying that because I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. So has Patrick. Started many companies, and the fact of the matter is, this is just common sense. You guys know it deep down. Like what Patrick just said applies to every business in any industry. If you ever want to build something, that has value, there are no shortcuts. You're going to have to put in the work. Okay. And anyone who tells you differently is lying, and you should run for the hills. This is just the truth. It's a hard truth. A lot of people are just like, oh my gosh, I saw this Fine Art America. I saw this Saatchi art, and I thought that I could just upload my work there and fish would jump in my boat and I'd be making consistent income and, drinking cocktails on the beach the rest of my life and traveling all over the world. No, it doesn't happen, right? Of course it doesn't happen. What everybody in the world can do, in the next 10 minutes, right? Because anybody can. You're sitting on your couch, you can just go upload to all these different sites, Redbubble, whatever it is, by definition will not work. Okay. And it doesn't work, guys. Do people make sales every once in a while on those? Yeah. But is anybody ever making a consistent living? No, they're not. Okay. So it's really important to know that, that you got to put in the work in order to build your business. Right. And once you mentally get past that, like I said, we all know it deep down. Anytime you think that it's going to be like, some passive income thing or something like that, deep down, like you think in your mind, I knew that wasn't going to work, And so once you mentally get over that hurdle and you realize that you've got to do consistent marketing for your own business, you just take one day at a time and you just start doing it.
Yeah. Easy. Do you want to get into the questions or you got more to rant
on? Yeah. So you guys can start raising your hands if you want to start getting in line. I think the last point that I want to make though, is that oftentimes when you and I are asked about, we get the question like, how should I run the Facebook or Instagram ads and all that stuff? And we unpack it. And normally it's the person's not ready to be running ads, right? But I think what's really profound is what are all the other things that artists and photographers are missing that they should be working on that are foundational to their business? And they're focused on the ads, right? Like for example, merchandising, right? One of the biggest things that nobody is doing, and it's the biggest blunder that I think you and I have identified, in the years of doing this, you guys. And by merchandising, what we mean is showing your actual product, right? Like you're selling prints on canvas, metal, this and that. You're selling originals, right? Do you actually have samples of your product handy right now where you're sitting at? So that if I want to see what a metal print looks like and decide between $1,000 metal print and an acrylic print, you've got something right there where you can go like this. Here's the metal, here's the side, here's the back. Pat, I know you've got the actual prints. I've got these fine art coasters here right in front of me. But the vast majority of artists and photographers don't even have the requisite samples of their products. It's like walking into a retail store, right? I'm going down the street and I go to a clothing store and I walk in there and I'm like, I want to see your clothes. And the guy's like, oh, here's a magazine, here's a catalog of everything we have. I'm like, no, I want to see the clothes. Show me the clothes. And he's forcing me to look at it through a catalog, And so there's so many little things like that are foundational to the business that come way before buying ads or buying traffic to come in to, what's essentially not a business or a sales funnel that's well put together yet.
We can get into some merchandising later if they like. I always love going into the presentation. But yeah, I think, look, sorry to call the audible on the Facebook ads and switch it up, but it's just a hot button issue, and we just continue to see so many people lighting money on fire by doing it. We wanted to sort of set the foundations of it, which I think is just so important. But let's go. We can get into the questions. AMZ, you're up first. How you doing, AMZ? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yeah, I know my question is kind of in line with what you've already been talking about, and I hope I didn't get in late and miss it. But I'm wondering what is the difference between the Facebook ads and the Instagram ads in relationship to the cost up front, return on investment, and is there any other avenues or opportunities to advertise your stuff that are better than that besides in person? In person, of course, is the best, but that's kind of a two-part question.
Yeah, I would say no. I think I've tested just about every advertising product that exists in the market, digitally speaking, aside from really fringe stuff, whether it's Amazon ads or LinkedIn ads or Twitter ads or YouTube ads or Google ads, and Facebook and Instagram have just the most sophisticated product. The number apparently is like 186,000 data points Facebook has on each and every one of us. So you combine that with an algorithm, and they know who we are, they know what we like, they know what our interests are, they know what we purchase. And so in terms of attempting to build an art business and target people and have it be, really, really accurate, the analogy I give is advertising back in the day is like putting a billboard on the side of the freeway, right? Yeah, you're going to get some of the people that you're actually wanting to target, but you're going to get a whole lot of waste in there, right? Facebook and Instagram essentially allows you to take that freeway billboard and ram it in somebody's front yard. That's how accurate their targeting is. And so it's extremely, extremely effective in that capacity. But for you, AMZ, you got to be doing all the marketing first.
Yeah. Well, how does the Instagram, is that more expensive than Facebook?
They own both of them. It's one ads marketplace that allows you to advertise on either, and with the same targeting, all the same parameters.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't need to worry about it too, AMZ, because when you get there and you're doing that, when you're doing it to your warm audience, right? Like what Facebook and Instagram, it's one company essentially, right? What it does is it knows who your audience is, and it tends to know their patterns of when they go on Instagram or when they go on Facebook, or some of them might primarily go on Instagram or Facebook, right? And so it's just going to target them where they are, So as soon as they pop up, it knows they're online. It's like, okay, I'm going to show them AMZ's ad now, right? So your job when you're doing warm ads is just to be up, right? And let the algorithm do the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And by the way, everybody, because we didn't say it yet, don't ever boost a Facebook post. Don't ever do it.
Or Instagram. Ever.
Or Instagram. You're flushing your money down the toilet. We got to make sure that we say that. And the other thing too, Pat, that we talked about, like if you're doing consistent marketing, then you're probably ready to be doing Facebook warm ads. But I think you and I have kind of settled on, you probably got to have around $3,000 to $5,000 in sales already, like for the year. Let's say like within a 12-month period, you should be at that level, because then you probably have a warm audience that you're ready to start showing stuff to, right? Is that about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We adjust those numbers. We're still working on it, but that's sort of the zone. Okay, Wesley, you're up. What's your question, Wesley?
Hey guys.
Hey there.
One of the earliest of these sessions I attended, I got the message loud and clear that you guys are presenting today, that I probably jumped the gun in doing what I realize now are cold Facebook ads. And since then, I took your advice, Nick, and have been trying to get all the other marketing pieces in place before I do any more.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Wesley. Let me ask you a question I already know the answer to. How did those ads work out for you?
Well, that was actually going to be part of my question.
Did you generate?
Let me answer that by asking my question.
Yeah. Did you generate any sales from those ads?
I actually did generate one sale, which was a decent one. So it certainly paid for the investment I've made in these ads so far. But I don't think I did what Nick and you were suggesting, is I didn't I had fairly good click-through rates, but I didn't take advantage of converting those people coming to my site probably as effectively as I could do it now. So I'm beginning to understand how precious, every interaction is, because I do agree with you. You got to have the romance, right? This is something that takes time. You got to build this up,
That's right.
and you can't just expect immediate sales. But here's the deal, Pat.
Like,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's rare to get one of those right up front like you did, but you got it. But like usually, like that's not that far out of line, because what most people don't understand is that, you might get a 1-to-1, what they call a ROAS, return on ad spend, where you're essentially just making the money back that you're putting out. And in order to actually earn a profit, like a real return on your ad spend, that's obviously, when you're doing all of the marketing and you can maximize the number of people that you convert from those ads. And then obviously you want to turn them into second-time buyers, third-time buyers, in other words, collectors, right? And that's eventually how you will get the ROI from it. But you have to be willing to go the long haul and accept a 1-to-1 return on ad spend. And that might be the best you ever get too,
Yeah.
So the point is, right?
So here's the deal. This is the question I wanted to ask. I'm wondering about, I'm still looking for my niche. I've made some sales. I've done enough sales to, I think, validate that I have some inventory that's saleable. But I really am still trying to find the most productive niche for the type of art that I'm interested in. So one of my ideas, what you guys think, is I read WordPress guru said that the average click-through rate for the retail industry is 1.59%. So you throw out however many impressions, right, in a Google or Facebook ad, or Instagram ad, and only 1.6 people actually click through that ad. That doesn't sound like a whole lot. So what is a validating click-through rate for fine art? That's my question. You guys must have some numbers on that, because I imagine it's higher than 1.6. But if I ran a cold, let's call it a cold ad, and I did say an A/B ad, and I was trying to sort out which of the two A/B ads provoked the most attention, what would be a click-through rate to establish that was a valid niche, is what I'm looking for. You understand my question?
Yeah, we got it. And I'm gonna mute you, Wesley, because your audio is going in and out. It's like a little patchy. I had to kill your video too, because I think your internet connection is not strong enough. The reality is that you could care less what the click-through rate is. The only thing that matters is the return on investment and whether or not you're getting sales, right? If the click-through rate is 0.0000001%, and that person comes in and buys $10,000 worth of art, and you spend $105 on the ads, who cares what the click-through rate is, right? The click-through rate is completely irrelevant. And what's more, why I hate these gurus, like, you cannot compare your click-through rate to anyone else's click-through rate. Everyone's business is a little bit different. The copy, the landing page, the ads platform, the targeting, and the click-through rate is completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant.
Completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Now, and here's the other thing. 2 points here. Number one, you don't ever have to worry about click-through rate, because Facebook's algorithm, their advertising algorithm, will serve the ad that is better. You don't ever want to get in the way of that. Okay. If you are going to show ads, it will determine which ad is better, and it knows. Okay. Yeah. Like, it has artificial intelligence. Trust me, we've spent millions of dollars on Facebook ads. And so, and then the second thing is that the reason that focusing on the click-through rate metric is the wrong idea is because if you want to get a high click-through rate, I can show you how, my friend, and you'll get 0 sales.
Yep.
0. Okay. Because Facebook knows, like, if at art storefronts, okay, we get about 250 blog subscribers a day, right? If we tell Facebook we want to get blog subscribers, we will get a gazillion in our advertising, right, Pat?
Oh yeah.
And guess what? Not a single one will buy. None. They're all it's like, it'll give us like 14-year-old, everybody who's unqualified. If we tell it we want demo requests, In other words, people who are actually serious about their art, they want to, talk to us. They maybe want to attend one of these sessions, for example. Those are the only people that are going to be qualified for art storefronts, people who are serious about their business, right? It will get us a way different person with a different click-through rate and a different conversion rate to email and a different conversion rate to a demo request, right? So you can't focus on that metric. You got to focus on the only metric that matters, which is your sales at the end of the day, right? Yep. And maybe, like I would say for artists and photographers, like, the conversion to email is an important one, but again, you can't tell Facebook to just focus on emails, because it will just go out and get you a bunch of emails of people who will never buy.
Yep.
It's that good at doing what it does. Trust me, it will waste your money faster than you can even imagine.
Which is why you don't ever boost post, because all it does is get a whole bunch of people that like your post or click the photo, right, and they don't do anything else ever.
It's the most amazing thing when you spend and waste the money, to get, likes or just emails or things like that. And you realize, like, anybody who knows anything about Facebook ads says you gotta target that final metric. Like, what do you really want? You want a sale? That's what you got to be going for. That's the metric you got to watch.
Okay. It's going to go Cindy, Cash, and then I see your question in the chat, and I'll get to that one next. Cindy, you're up next. What's your question? And you'll probably need to unmute at the bottom, Cindy. I'll let you got it. You got it.
Okay, so I do quite a bit of marketing on my own and stuff, and I've watched you guys' things come through my email for a long time. And this intrigued me because I do feel like a lot of times with Facebook, I'm kind of shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
I test things here and there and don't know if they're working or not. I do a pretty good following on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question is, what is the best way to set up an ad that's effective?
Yeah, so Facebook ads are 3 folders. Everybody understands folders, and folders are hierarchical, right? You can have a folder inside of a folder inside of a folder. So the first folder is campaigns. The second folder is ad groups. And the third folder is the ad itself, okay? The campaign is the objective, right? So if you walked up to a deli counter, you could order a range of things, right? You could order a water, you could order a lemonade, you could order a pastrami sandwich on rye, you could order the soup, no soup for you. That's the campaign objective. You're walking up to the counter and you're saying, Facebook, go and get me this, right? And it's their job to go out, presumably, and come back with it. So that's number 1, campaign objective. Number 2, the ad group, the next folder over, is where you set the targeting, okay? That's the people that you were telling Facebook to go after. So in our case, we recommend that people set warm targeting on Facebook, okay? And there's a number of different ways that works. It's your email list. And again, remember the bar analogy, right? All of these people know you. They've had some sort of interaction with you. So that could be people that have on your email list, that have come to your website, that have engaged with your content on Facebook, that have engaged with your content on Instagram, that come from an offline database or old sales receipts that you have. Once that's an audience, okay, that's who you're showing your ads to, then you have campaign objectives, which would be like, if you have a sale, you're driving them to the website. If you have a video, you want them to watch a bunch of videos, right? Video views. Or you just might want them to see your post, right? Like going back to the old days where everyone saw your post. So that's sort of like the breakup in the system. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, I'm not sure I know how to use an email list as I mean, most of what I've looked at when you create a group is based on whether it's people who followed you or whether it's a radius around your location, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say? Radius?
Yeah, it'll be your location is here, and we'll do a 50-mile radius of people that live nearby, kind of thing.
Yeah, you could do that too, but that again, this is one of these things that we never recommend, because who's in that 50-mile radius? A whole lot of people that don't like art, don't like you, don't know you, don't have money, will never buy art, and so there's just a tremendous amount of waste. So
well, I guess I'm unfamiliar with how to set it up. Like, how do I target my email list then on Facebook?
Yeah, so these are all the things that we teach full time. But what I would do in the meantime is just Google how to create an email audience on Facebook. There will be an upwards of 10 million tutorials on there to get you through it all. We teach it all, so we're sort of just doing it theoretically today rather than
right.
Yeah.
It's doing the whole Facebook ad setup is like extreme. I mean, Pat has a whole course on it for our members, right? I mean, how many hours did you put into that? 100?
Yeah, a lot.
50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
like
there's
the comprehensive
12
learning, the comprehensive learning for it takes like weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah, but Cindy, the point I wanted to make with your question is that you don't want to think about you don't want to think about like advertising to your warm audience like the art shows, right? These all the local people, you're used to like the local community coming to your art shows. What you want to be doing is thinking about targeting people who have an emotional connection with your subject matter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Nationwide, it doesn't matter where they are, right? Doesn't matter where they are. If you paint, turtles, you want to target all the turtle lovers, whether they're in Washington or Florida,
Yeah, yeah, and I've found kind of a local audience. I paint a lot of local historic buildings and landmarks and things, and so I've gotten that on a small scale, but I can't really make a great living from my town. And then I sell my work and I sell prints, but I also teach classes. So those are almost kind of two separate things. And like I said, I've watched your stuff, kind of from a distance for a while. And so as part of joining your group, all that training is available, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And I love what you do, by the way. I love artists that have sorted out multiple revenue sources. And we have some that do the paintings, right? Sell originals, sell commissions, sell the prints, but then also do the courses and make almost more money on the courses that they're doing, the teaching, right? Like, how to paint sessions, like killing it. Like that's such a phenomenal way to diversify your revenue sources, allow you to grow a much bigger business and grow your following to such a significantly higher level. It's a fantastic way to group everything. And so we also teach on that too.
Cool. Well, thank you. And I had to now learn how to do it on Zoom.
Yep.
With a challenge because my live classes were shut down. So it's like, okay, now what?
Yep.
And I'm actually really enjoying doing Zoom classes. And the cool thing is I know now I can market to a much bigger audience, people who don't live
Oh
near
yeah. Oh yeah.
But I need to get better at how to reach those people.
Yeah. That's like, you might get going. I mean, we live in an entire new world right now, right? And video has always been around, but internet broadband data has just gotten higher and higher and higher. And it sort of like took this pandemic to really just accelerate things where, how many different television personalities are now communicating with like a cheap headset. I mean, I watch ESPN soccer and there's guys with a setup that's not even as good as mine. Okay. I have a green screen and lights. It looks like I'm in this kitchen. I'm not in a kitchen, right? Like they're on TV with this headset, this cheap headset that I could have bought from the Apple store for $19, and they're doing live broadcasts. Everything's changed. We have this ability now where like there's a lowered standard of broadcast quality and everyone understands this technology and you can be all of these places at once. Like you might have a truly global audience for your teaching now. And that's no small thing. That's a profundity you really got to think through. Like you could be exploding that class and you don't ever have to leave your house. Amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And
thanks,
Cindy, you got some great work behind you, by the way. I was going to say, so like, we have, as far as like our business consulting is concerned at Art Storefronts, we've got the whole playbook for that. We probably have, I don't even know, 50 or 75 playbooks because we provide a 365-day art marketing calendar. And 2 days a week, we have private member consulting sessions. They're like this, they're on a Zoom call, but it's members only. And we're actually going through all of the tactical that we want everybody doing that week. So for example, when Patrick, a couple of weeks ago, did the Facebook warm ads, we're going through the step-by-step of every single step to do this properly, And anyone who is interested, by the way, in learning more about Art Storefronts, the next step is to request a demo. Just so you know, if we can get a requested demo, oh, it's there, it's in the chat. Click that, you fill out the form, it takes like 20 seconds, and then somebody from our outreach team will reach out to you. And then talk to you, take a look at your art, learn about your goals, and then see if you're a good fit for Art Storefronts. And they can do a screen share and literally show you everything that we do, like the entire proper art gallery website that we equip you with because we have the best art selling technology. that there is to give your buyers the best experience. And then also the details of the marketing consulting, the ongoing marketing consulting. When you join Art Storefronts, you get marketing consulting for life, okay? And they can show you all the details of that. We also happen to have a summer special, I should say, that it ended in August and we've extended it through September. So there's a week and a half left. And so you can join Art Storefronts at a pretty big discount if you join before the end of the month. So if you're interested in potentially doing that, just request a demo and see if it's a good fit for you.
Thanks, Cindy.
One of the things that I think has held me back from doing that is that I do have a website that is very functional, that's cost me a lot of money and taken a lot of time.
Hard to walk away from, right?
I'm hesitant to jump away from that and start over,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like if you're happy with the performance of it, and you look at the features and all of that, the thing that I say is like, one of the reasons we started Art Storefronts was because artists and photographers were not properly equipped with the industry standard features that the billions of dollars of art that is being sold online is running through, i.e. the art.coms, right? With the wall previews and, the live 3D previews and the framing tools and all that. All of these, art is such a high friction item when people are looking to buy it, right? Like, what size should I get? What is metal? What is canvas? What are these things, right? Like, can I see a video of it? Can I see pictures of the sides, the back, all of this? Will it look good on my wall? Will it mesh with my paint color? Will it go good on this wall that I'm looking at right now in my office, right? Like, when you have all of that technology there, it's like a robot that's working for you, so that when you're actually spending your precious time on marketing, like, marketing is hard, like driving traffic and getting more eyeballs is hard. You want to send it to a site that's like, just at least meets or exceeds the industry standards for the art buying experience, so that you're converting the maximum number of visitors into buyers. And that's what a proper art gallery website will do for you. I think that in our case, because all we have are art selling websites, that's all we do. We've made the process a lot easier than setting up a regular site. Like, all the sizes, like when you upload a file, it analyzes the quality of the file, the aspect ratio, auto generates sizes. You don't have to like turn on all these different features and, the media types. It just applies everything. It's pretty intelligent, so that, our whole point is that we want you guys to be properly equipped. And then we also want you to spend the minimum amount of time possible, on your website, right? Like, one of our photographers the other day, he said, I think it was Anthony Canton. He said, he's like, on my old WordPress site, I think it was a WordPress site. He's like, I hated even like uploading a new image when I had these new images, because it would take so much time to like check all the boxes and add the options and things like that for the different media types he was offering and the sizes, that he just didn't do it. But, with ours, you just upload it and then it just inherits all of the settings that you already had. And it's like, in minutes, you could just upload like 10 new pieces and they're ready for sale with all the options that you want. So I think ultimately you'll end up saving a lot of time. But the most important thing is like, if you're doing this and you're an artist and you're going to be, or a photographer, like, it makes sense to properly equip yourself to have the wind at your back, right? Like, if you're going to do this for the next 5 or 10 years and that, like, don't dig a swimming pool with like a spoon. Like, get a tractor, get the right tool for the job. It's going to make your life a lot easier, right? And you're going to give your customers a better experience. We live in the age of, customer experience. Like, Apple and Amazon have become trillion-dollar companies by like customer obsession, like that mantra. So there's so many reasons to like make sure that you are properly equipped, that I wouldn't look at like the time investment as something that's like, I understand that it stinks to kind of have to do the work again, but I think try to step back from that emotionally and just be like, what's the right decision for me for 5 years or 10 years, right? Like, I'm putting my time and effort into this business. I want to grow it. And so you should have like the requisite standard of tools like behind you.
Yeah. And the bolt-on option is an option too. Like, some people, are commercial photographers and have a commercial photography site, and then they have their fine art site. So they don't want to get rid of their website, which is fine. You just put the store on CindyWelch.com, and you see how it goes. If it ends up being more profitable for you to do it, then you can move it over later at any point in time. So that's how it goes. Okay, Cash Monet, you're up. Welcome back.
Hey, so great to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Awesome. So, my issue is similar to everyone else's. I know there's a lot of things that are out of our control, so there's no point in dwelling on that. But definitely in previous years, I didn't have any issue selling like a couple $1,000s worth of art, being in these bigger festivals. Also, you have an insane traffic, people that have never heard of your work and things like that. So I found not only the engagement, but also just meeting a lot of people I've never met before and all of these things. It was just really great. And so my issue now is like how to generate more qualified leads that are not only people that are just looking like I'm okay with selling my prints right now, but when it comes to paintings and things that are more pricey, it's a little bit more challenging. So like I don't know exactly how to generate qualified leads for those higher priced items, if that makes sense. And outside of doing the ads and everything. I know it's kind of tricky, but
Not tricky at all, Pat. I mean, whenever anybody starts talking about generating leads, like I go to the moon. I go to the moon because it's the number one thing to focus on. You are focused on the exact bullseye right thing. Like I literally want you to sign up for Art Storefronts like today, because like the quality of your thinking is very high and you'd be a great, member with us. But essentially what you're asking the right question, and it's the hardest thing to do. It is the hardest thing. It's the only thing that matters, but it's the thing that you have to be focused on, right? And so like with us, we can't publicize these because they're very private, and
right.
Like there's an old saying, marketers ruin everything. And so when all of the secrets get out, like eventually every marketing tactic like gets ruined, and our job is to come up with the best ones that people have not done yet, so that there's an arbitrage, there's an advantage, and then eventually it will get ran over and then we'll be on to the next thing. And so unfortunately I can't divulge what these things are, and they're very in-depth playbooks, you know what I mean? So even if we talked about it, it would, probably be marginally helpful. But that's what I'll tell you. I hate to not be able to answer your question directly, but I think the most important thing for you and for everybody that's listening is like you are exactly thinking the right way. And it's not, generating leads is not just about, for the higher priced items. It's just for the whole business.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, I can judge the health of any art business. If somebody says, Nick, like, I don't know what's wrong with my art business, I will literally say, don't show me your images. I don't want to see your art or photography. Just send me your last 6 months of how many emails you acquired every month. Just show me the numbers. I'll tell you exactly what's going on with your art business. Well, and then they'll ask me like, well, I just don't know if my content's resonating. I'm like, just send me those numbers. I'll tell you if your content's resonating. It's all right there. So you're focused on the right thing. And for that, I really commend you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed like also seeing a painting, for instance, something that is of higher price, seeing that in person versus online, completely different. And I've even had several people tell me like, whoa, this looks way better in person than it does online. And that's why when you have that in-person engagement, obviously you're way more likely to sell something of higher value, right? So yeah, it's definitely tricky.
You can sell it. But you can sell it, Dash. I'm telling you, people are selling them all the time.
Yeah.
You have to get good at the merchandising. You know what I mean? Like, your camera right now is a little bit blurry. Like maybe it's not if you put something up close. But like, obviously these are the types of things, like I've got 4 originals right here that have not gotten hung up on the wall. I'm looking at them, but you got to get good at showing those. Do you know what I mean? Like showing like the texture, the side, the back, and from what we see with our members, they will sell $3,000, $4,000, $7,000, $10,000 items on the spot on video. I mean, Pat, talk about one of your, the live art shows that you did with one of our members, Matthew Laka, sold $30,000. In like, they ran the live art show. Pat helped him execute the whole thing. Sold $30,000 in like what, 5 days?
It was, I think, and aren't you in Quebec too? Cash?
No, I'm in Edmonton, Alberta.
Okay, you're not. I've got you confused. Yeah, so he's in Canada, and he sold 62 pieces, and I think it was a little bit over 30,000 Canadian in 15 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the point there is that it can be done. There's nothing stopping you from doing it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And
sure.
it's just, you've got the right idea. It's like, don't worry about those details. Like just acquire leads, acquire leads like crazy. And the rest will take care of itself. You'll get really qualified, high net worth individuals in there. And then you'll get a bunch of other people as well. And the other people, as long as they're emotionally connected to your subject matter and to you and your brand, they like what you're doing and stuff like that. They serve a purpose, even if they don't buy, because they're sharing your posts, they're forwarding your emails, they're commenting, they're creating action, and all of that is good.
Yeah, for sure.
Cash, you market. When you get a hot lead, repeat after me. Hey, Cash, thanks so much for the interest in the work. You know, if this was normal circumstances, we'd be able to see it in person, which would be incredible. But something that I do as a result of this COVID dumpster fire that we're all in, I'd love to do a one-on-one video chat. And what we could do is we could just use Zoom or FaceTime or whatever's easiest for you, and I can show you the work. We can talk about it. I can show you the back, show you the detail, get into the various different aspects of it, and I'd be more than happy to do that at your earliest convenience.
Awesome.
Just like that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be using my computer webcam. I'm just using it now. But yeah, definitely. I really appreciate your guys' feedback and help. And I love you guys. I love all of your recommendations and all of your podcasts and everything. I'm following you guys religiously. Just love you guys. So keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cash.
Appreciate that feedback. There's a question in the chat from SE Fox.
Mm-hmm.
How do galleries feel about you being involved in marketing?
They love it. They absolutely love it. And the ones that try to tell you not to do it are out to lunch. The galleries need as much help with marketing as anyone else does.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I've learned, you know, in my 20 years in the art industry and, you know, 7 years at art storefronts, you know who the worst, you know, group is at marketing? The galleries. The reason being is because they were good at, there's something that they were good at if they actually had like a decent gallery. Rounding up people from the local community, right? You know, having some wine and making a little bit of an event out of it. And then getting those people to come in, getting them a little tipsy and buying some art, right? Kind of like, you know, galas or like fundraisers, right? They kind of get people a little sauced up and then they do like the auctions, right? There's a whole system to that. But when it comes to marketing that artist direct, you know, online and not just utilizing your retail storefront, it is a whole different ballgame, you know, whole different ballgame. And yeah, there's a lot of problems with it. And so the thing is though, is that we have some members where the galleries like are reluctant up front, you know, they like don't want them to do marketing, but the best, there's really good ways to get over that hurdle without going like nuclear and burning the relationship. And we provide a lot of that advice to our members. Like, for example, you say,
we have a post on it. We have a blog post on this.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get that in the show notes.
Yeah, April, will you make sure to get that gets into the chat and gets in the show notes? I mean, look, the reality is that the relationship has never been more out of balance between artist and gallery than it is right now because they are incapable of fulfilling their side of the deal. Now, that is environmentally based because no one's coming to these galleries anymore because of COVID. No one's retail shopping. But if they are not fulfilling their part of the deal, their part of the bargain, if there was ever a time where an artist could say, look, I love you guys. I have a great relationship, but I also have to put food on that thing, okay? On that thing, on the table, right? So, you know, I'm going to start marketing and attempting to survive and grow my business. If things change, fantastic. But the big picture, it's a symbiotic relationship, even though it's an exploitative one. Do I think it's exploitative? Yeah, I do. Keeping 50% and not letting you market to that person in perpetuity, exploitative. I think it is so ready for disruption, it's mind-boggling. And I've enjoyed nothing more, especially recently, than seeing these galleries, the smart ones anyway, see the writing on the wall and go, oh my gosh, if we don't start doing live art shows, our goose is cooked, right? Our goose is cooked. And failing miserably because there's actually a technology hurdle there and a lot to learn. Now, some of them are figuring it out bit by bit, but by and large, they're in a lot of trouble. They're in a massive amount of trouble. The whole entire balance of power right now is shifting right back to the artist and the photographer, and it's a wonderful time. It's an absolutely wonderful time.
Yeah, and if you've been working with galleries and you know you're just starting to market yourself online and all that stuff, my advice, and this always will work, is like You don't go nuclear in the galleries. You say, hey, this is what I'm going to do this. Any pieces that you guys, carry in the gallery or you're going to offer, like, whatever that split is, call it like, let's say it's 50-50. You say, if I sell it on my website, then we'll still split it 50-50. Okay.
Another way.
And I've never heard a situation where that doesn't work. And so that's your way of like, it's not great for you. Like if you're doing the marketing and you sell that piece, but it's a way for you to cross that bridge. And then, you're slowly moving towards, taking over more control of your destiny and your customers and your business. Right. So it's a good thing for you and for them. Like they're like, hey, if I get a free sale out of this and you're going to pay me, sure. So it's a great way to kind of like start that process.
Yep. And Noah was asking a question on LinkedIn, which was interesting, and I've been over this so many times. It's super fascinating. I'm scrolling up to get it, and it's like, okay, do you have any advice for using LinkedIn where the average contact is a professional earning over $100,000 a year, right? And what he's really asking is, how do I focus all my marketing energy and effort only on high net worth individuals, right? Very, very, very easy to talk about. Extremely difficult to do. I've yet to hear anyone really come up with a wonderful solution that's not algorithmic based that does it. And I'll give you an interesting insight on that. Okay, there was somebody I saw, and I can't remember how long ago it was, a couple of years ago, that took the location of Whole Foods, okay, and he put it on a Google map. He took the location of all the Whole Foods, and then he mapped it socioeconomically to the size of the communities and the average yearly income, right? And you could tell where the Whole Foods were, the affluent neighborhoods in any single solitary place, right? That's pretty easy to understand. So he then went on to Facebook, and he said, I only want to show ads to people that have liked Whole Foods, right? Now, that's a hacky way to target only high net worth individuals, right? Another hacky way to potentially do it would be only target people that have iOS something and above, right? i.e. they have enough money to buy a new iPhone. In either of those cases, because I've done this, it is a fool's errand, okay? You do not attract the high net worth individuals, and this is a profundity, and it's taken a long time to learn. You do not attract the high net worth individuals by going after them specifically. You know how you attract them? By regular and consistent marketing. And you know what happens? You attract what's called a bell curve of attention. Starts here, low income people, awesome, incredible, don't have the money, never going to buy anything but they'll like and share. Then the bell curve goes up. You have everything from lower middle class to upper middle class, and then the bell curve comes down on the end, and on the right-hand side there is where your high net worth individuals are. You want to get as many of those high net worth individuals as possible. You just market as consistently as you can. And what ends up happening when you don't target them, because you're marketing consistently, they end up coming through the door, right? We have a photographer who's become a good friend on the platform. Kid's killing it. Okay, I think he's like 26, and he's already above 200K on the year in sales. Like, he is destroying it. He got a $50,000-$60,000 interior decorator deal, huge deal. And I remember it was like an interior decorator at bank or whatever it was. He didn't get it by targeting interior decorators, and he didn't get it by targeting banks or whatever the deal ended up being. I can't remember which one it was, but he got it for consistent marketing and having a quality product, and they found him. And in my experience, that's how it happens. I have yet to hear anyone that just has it all figured out, how they only target the high net worth individuals in any broad-based e-commerce capacity.
Yeah, because the hard part about that is, like, you need to find people who have an emotional connection with your subject matter. It's more important to do that, right, than like just targeting high net worth individuals. If you want to go for it though on LinkedIn, my suggestion is find 100 people and just go contact them, or do however you want to try it and see how well it works. Because if you can't make that pay, it's not worth doing it any further, Or
you could get all of your art, and I recommend the marina in Saint-Tropez from early summer to late summer. Be a great place to set up a booth. That would be a fantastic way to target some high net worth individuals, just because all the yachts, right? I dare it anyway. Amzi, you're up again. I like it. Twofer. Amzi, what's your question?
Oh man, this one's a little bit technical.
I like technical.
This one's weird. Well, they just put in I guess it's a fiber optic hub about a block away from me, and because I'm on other calls,
mm-hmm.
and they said that it would be a good idea if I'm going to do live art shows that have
What does it cost? What does it cost a month?
See, that's what I was going to ask you guys, because I asked them and it was like $10,000 to put in the booth, which they did. But then because we're close, they can just run it to us. And I'm wondering.
Yes. Answer is yes. It's chances are it's going to be $100 a month. I have one of those connections here at my house, and it costs me $100 a month, and it's glorious.
That's great. Okay, that's the answer. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about 5G? Because they're starting to put 5G in here too. Does that mean anything or nothing?
Yeah, I mean it's a fancy branding. Everyone's talked about 5G. I haven't seen any wicked quick speeds just yet. So waiting and seeing on that.
It's good, huh?
Yeah, look, if you've got fiber to the premise already there, then I'm sure the connection won't be that bad. It won't be that expensive, and there's probably tiered plans too, so you can jump up one plan, and see where you are. But yeah, it's a brave new world, and bandwidth is way more important now in the era of live video and live selling of art and photography than it ever was before. That's for sure.
All right, you sold me. I'm getting it. That's
Good.
Great. Wow.
Good.
Oof.
Not to poke and prod, but any chance on a play out today, AMZ?
Oh.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. I'm just saying if you're ready.
Okay, but it'll be a boring song because it's all about you.
Okay. Well, that's true. But at the same time,
just kidding.
It's Friday and I'm in high spirits. Okay.
We need you to take us out today.
Yeah. We'll circle back. All right, Mary Rembrandt, you're back. And again, this is a call in which we have Monet and Rembrandt on the call. I mean, amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a Monet here?
Yes. You don't remember last time where I was like, you and Cash Monet need to team up.
Cash Monet, that's right. Hey,
good.
girl. Anyway, I'm sorry. In light of what Amzi was saying, I there was some parts of that I did not understand.
Mm-hmm.
Would you kind of recount some of that? Because that's something that actually, on a minor scale, I've been investing in. $10 for a little cheapy mic, a little light, something, so that when I have it set up, I have reasonable sound and it's not just the speakers on my computer and everything. But could you elaborate that? Because I didn't understand the price. I thought I heard $10,000.
Top of Mary's list. You know where I'm going, Mary. Mary.
Yes.
You know where I'm going, Mary.
I'm not doing it yet.
Top of the list. Order your prints. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, sell the prints. Rest of the list, irrelevant right now.
Okay.
Not to worry. Got to keep you focused. Thank you.
Yes,
Got to keep you focused.
Yeah, your camera and your lighting and everything looks great to me. So you don't need anything else. And I'm kind of famous for this. Like, you notice I don't have the mic. I'm the CEO of the company. I don't have a mic. I don't have any special lighting. Like, Pat he's always got the details there. And I'm using my MacBook Pro. I'm the standard camera right on this thing. When we're live, I'm using my phone as well as this, and that's it. It's,
Again, I watch ESPN every day because I'm into soccer, and the ESPN guy is like sitting in front of his fireplace with no lights and a dangly iPhone cord out. That's it. He's on national television. The equipment is irrelevant.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Got to stay on Mary's case. All right. Any other questions, you guys, in the chat or otherwise, while you have us, prior to Amzi playing us out? I could see he's tuning up already. Be a real treat. It's a real treat on Fridays when he plays this out. All right. It looks like that's it. Let me just check Facebook quickly. Oh, good. I got my prints. People are telling me they got their prints.
I'll say just a final reminder, you guys, if you want to learn more about art storefronts, request a demo. It's already there. The link is right when I'm thinking it. It's already there. Nice job, Taylor or April, Chris, whichever one of you put that in there. Thank you. Request a demo. And remember, the summer special is ending at the end of the month. All right. So if you want to potentially join, request a demo, and our team will take you through everything, every detail, and see if it's a good fit for you. And the fourth quarter is coming up, Pat.
Yep, it is.
Biggest art selling time of the year, you guys. Right around the corner. So timing is good.
I'm getting questions on Facebook from AMZ's fan club, by the way. When is AMZ joining?
AMZ, when are you joining? I just have to ask you. When are you joining?
AMZ needs a special musicians deal.
Because Amzi, we need you on the private member ones. Like you might have to be like the in-house musician. He's on mute. I can't hear him.
Oh yeah, I got him. And then we're ready for you to play too, Andy.
The members are asking for you to join because
Unmute me.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it current, man. I'm getting there. Well, I'm making too much money. I got to put it somewhere.
That's right. That's right.
Just don't tell anybody how good I'm doing.
Yep.
Huh? Okay.
All right, are we good?
Yep, we're good.
Let's hear it,
Okay.
Amzi. Take us out.
All right, so this is really current, right? This is like just from today.
Love it.
You got your Cash Monet, you got your Mary Rembrandt. Did join in. Unplug your drain, clean up your brain, ship out your thing, don't be ashamed, yeah. Art storefronts, it's the one. Make some funny and have some fun.
All right, Amzi.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, if that doesn't, you could get some art teaching anywhere, but getting to play out like that on a Friday, I mean, good living. Good living.
Sweet guitar too. Love that thing. All right, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much.